tonight, there being just two of them. Being regular, and I'll say at the end of the year, I would say our Roseberry's quiz MVP, the GOATs, if you will. We have the men from Ankle with 69.5.
I fear that this jumper could be the only thing you see me wearing now for the foreseeable. It's good, it's really good. And I realised that in last week's video it was the one thing I didn't link, and it was the one thing I was asked about the most. But I think unless I'm talking about something in a vlog, I forget to credit it in the description box, so sorry about that. It's from Barbar. My friend Lydia, who I went to visit in Wales recently, had the black version on and it looked great. And I was very tempted by the black. I've been tempted by Barbar knits for a very long time, but I just didn't really know which style because I've not seen any of them in real life. And then when I saw Lydia wearing the black one, I was like, oh, it's really, really nice. But I do have a lot of black knits that kind of serve a similar purpose already. So I was like, if I get another one, it's not really gonna add much to my wardrobe. And so I was browsing the colours because there's so many great colours. And I saw this, which I can only describe as sort of like a tomato red. It's like tomato, no, more like tomato soup. Cream of tomato. Obviously red is everywhere at the moment, and it does feel a little bit like there's almost like too much red around at the moment now. But a lot of the red I'm seeing is it's quite like harsh, and I've tried wearing that sort of quite vibrant, almost slightly cool toned red. And I feel quite vulnerable in it. So when I saw this, which is a much softer and warmer toned red, I was like, ah, okay, I think this is going to make me feel less vulnerable when wearing red. And I love it. It's probably not showing up that nicely on camera, but it's such a beautiful knit. They are one size only. For reference, I am 5'3", although you can't see because I'm kneeling on the bed. It is quite big and slouchy, but it is probably the ultimate cozy jumper. This style in particular is the number 17. I think this colour though, due to their Black Friday sale, is now sold out. But there is another style that is extremely similar. It's got slightly different sleeve detail. I can't remember what number it is, but it is the same colour, and I will link it below. For those of you that noticed that I was reading Tom Lake, I finished it last week and I loved it. I've taken the sleeve off just because I wanted to see what it looked like without the sleeve. How nice a spine is that? This is the actual sleeve. Yeah, I loved it. I knew I was going to love it because I loved The Dutch House. The Dutch House is one of my favourite books. I really enjoyed Commonwealth. I really like Anne Patchett's writing. And so the story is told from the protagonist's point of view, Lara, and her family, so her and her husband and her 3 daughters are stuck on their family farm due to the pandemic. Do not fear, this is not a story about the pandemic or largely centred around the pandemic. It just so happens that that is the situation they're in. And her 3 daughters, whilst they're all stuck on the farm, beg her to tell the story of how she, in her early 20s, dated a famous actor. He wasn't famous at the time, he goes on to be an extremely famous actor, but in her early 20s she was an actress, and she dates a guy called Peter Duke, who goes on to be a very famous actor, and it's all about the ups and downs of that. And so the story flits between the present day of her telling the story and the past. The story itself is as a whole, it's very much about relationships, family, I guess finding happiness during quite tough times. Not only is it about her relationship with Peter Duke, but you learn about her 3 daughters, and also something that I particularly loved about the story is so much of what happens in her past is connected to her situation in the present day, obviously, and the other story of how she ends up with her husband and living on this farm is just so heartwarming. So it's like as you go along, as little pieces here and there get more and more revealed, the bigger picture, it's just like, oh, it's just a lovely story. Right, okay, so Dean's sister is turning 40 and she's having a party, and I am struggling to pick something to wear because I never know what to wear to parties basically. So the next clips are going to be me just kind of doing a rerun, because I basically did like a big wardrobe try on to try and figure out, and then narrowed it down to a few looks. So the next bit will be me talking through my options and talking myself into one option basically. But this segment of the vlog is in partnership with Farfetch. You know the drill by now. You know the drill, you know how this works. I work regularly with Farfetch and they very kindly allow me to pick a few pieces to feature within a vlog. You know how much I love Farfetch. I spend far too much time on the website because it's so good and there's so much stuff on there. And everything that is featured in this video from Farfetch will be in the description box. 'Tis the season for just continuous lip balm application. I also realised that I should probably get one of those microphones so that when I am stood far away from the camera, the audio isn't just so like shouty and echoey. But until I have that, you will just have to withstand a shouty echo. Look number one, which is the look I'm leaning towards the most, but it's good to do a rerun just to double check. This top's from Simkai, and really the party is in the cuffs, isn't it? These taffeta cuffs with these black velvet bows just feel so fun, and just a slight festive nod to the season. And then the body is a thick ribbed knit, so it's quite form-fitting, and it feels very like, in terms of the sensory experience of wearing this top, it feels very nice. And then I thought I could do a taffeta skirt, like a full taffeta skirt as well, but I just thought it might be a bit too princessy, so I've opted for a long silk skirt. This is an old one from an Aussie brand called SE Studios. I love this skirt so much because it's just like a real subtle like flare out. It's not like a straight column, and it's not cut on the bias. I like the way a bias cut silk skirt looks, but for some reason on me I just don't really like it. I much prefer something that's a bit more just straight and then slightly flares out, which this does perfectly and has just like the most beautiful fluidity to it, and I think it kind of goes quite nicely with the taffeta on the sleeves. It is quite long though, so I have to wear a heel just to kind of elevate me a bit so that I don't trip over it. Gone for a glove boot from Proenza. They're really not that high at all, it's just enough to lift the skirt up off the floor. And then they've got this kind of like wide round toe. If I go for this look, I think it's a silver jewellery type of look. At the moment I've just popped on this Lee Studio ring with flash jewellery earrings, which are another Aussie brand. And then to really lift it, I think the bag, this bag's just great with it. This is also Simkai as well. And then I like as well that the top and the skirt, the way they kind of go together, creates this look of it just being this very long black dress. And then for my hair, I'll either just slick it back behind the ears, or I will sort of texturise it, let it hang out a bit and put a necklace on, because otherwise you don't see the earring. Yeah, this feels really nice. It's a very nice thing to wear. It is all about textures, which you probably can't actually see that well from over there, but I am a very textural person, you know me. I like to wear all black, and I like things to be very textural. And this really ticks the box with that, along with all the silver bits. You've got a bit of velvet, you've got a bit of taffeta, you've got a bit of silk. It's all, yeah, there's a lot of nice things going on here. So that is option number one. In comparison to look number one, this now feels too low-key. This is why the rerun has been quite helpful, because before filming this, I was thinking it was a tie between look one and this look. Because I was like, oh, maybe look one is a bit too dressed up. But in hindsight, I'm like, it's a 40th party. People are going to dress up. So, you know, it's an opportunity to really get dressed up. So this is one that I'm going to keep in the bank for dinner and drinks, I think. I really like it, and I was kind of hoping that the bag and the top would make it feel a bit more party. But in hindsight, I'm like, it's not quite there. I think the top has great potential to be dressed up in a much more party way, but I've not quite achieved that with jeans. The top, I mean, a moment for the top, because the top is absolutely stunning, and I don't think the camera's going to do it justice. It's Izumiyaki, and the pleats on this are like next level. They're so beautiful and done in such a like delicate way. Like, they create this really like delicate kind of like crinkly wave. It's stunning. And the it's not quite batwing, it's just got like a sort of like drop armpit, so you get this kind of like really interesting shape. It's just stunning. High neck, and then there's a double-ended zip up the back, so you could wear it open at the bottom or open at the top. It's an absolute thing of beauty, as to be expected with Izumeyaki. But yeah, I think I could do it much more justice perhaps with just maybe like a slightly more fun jazzy trouser, or maybe even the silk skirt actually, perhaps. I might play around with it. It's still, I'd love to wear it, but I just don't know if I've really got the time to be trying to think of another outfit now. I'm like, ooh, what can I do with this top? I don't have long to decide, and then we need to leave. Option number 3 is the fun knitted dress. This one's from COS. It is a great dress, but I think for it to be a contender against look number 1, I need to ramp this up with more interesting accessories perhaps. Like the bag is great, but maybe I need to do slip back bun with like a bigger silver earring, maybe even more like something like a bigger cuff or some more rings. I've gone for the Proenza boots again with this to give height, and I also quite like that flash of leg. Like I quite like that the boot looks a little bit awkward with the flash of leg. But yeah, it's just, it needs more, doesn't it? It's such a great dress. It's got this like kind of like slit look to it. However, it's very thick, which doesn't bode well for the dance floor. And perhaps it just doesn't have that kind of like elegance that the that look number 1 has. Look number 1 really is like the front runner, isn't it? I can't believe I'm saying this again, because it feels like I only just recovered from whatever that cold flu thing I had in November was. But I got a chest infection. Directly after the party, started to feel pretty rough, and quickly realised I had a chest infection, which doesn't, you know, it's not surprising at this time of year. In large social settings, illness is flying around. But yeah, it completely took me out. I lost my voice for a couple of days. I've had such low energy, just violent coughing, like my chest has been so painful. But yesterday started to feel like slightly better, so went out. I'm going to go out again today because I miss the fresh air. Being stuck indoors for so long, I really just miss going outside. So I'm going to go for a walk today and also just crack on with a bit more Christmas shopping. But chest infections are one of those things that like you think they're gone. They like lure you into a false sense of security. You think they're gone or they're going, and then you kind of push yourself a little bit too hard than you should, and then it just comes back with a vengeance. So I'm being careful, I'm treading carefully, because I really don't want to, like, we're so close to Christmas now, I just don't want to be ill. So yeah, just take it easy for the next couple of days. But I was thinking this morning, I was like, oh, I don't really have much vlog stuff, because it just kind of ended abruptly after the party. So there's not much to the vlog this week. So when I come back, because I went to a really nice ceramics sale yesterday, I'm going to show you some of the ceramics I got and a few other little bits and pieces around the home that I've recently bought, that I think might just be quite nice to share, because everyone loves like a little home accessories haul, don't they? Right, I'll show you what I'm wearing today. Quite an old COS turtleneck, just a really good thick wool one. Some cords from Margaret Howe. I bought these recently. I did a little wonder web on them this morning to bring the hem up. Marie H sneakers from the Row, which are pretty much just a very fancy version of Van slip-ons, I guess, but they're great for just like everyday wear, you know, casual fits. Gone for all silver jewellery today. I'm not sure if I like brown and silver. It's a grower, I think. Quick layer up. Almada label hat, Calios sunglasses, the Raw Banana, Almada label coat.
Rose is a bit of a, she's like a taskmaster.
Exact.
Okay, at this point, I am convinced the weather is trolling me. What is this like? I know I've moaned about this too many times at this point, But I woke up this morning and it was like glorious sunshine. I was like, great, fantastic, I've got this beautiful light to film in today. And then as soon as I got my camera out, the clouds just descended on our house and the sun is nowhere to be seen. So you're gonna have to bear with this light, it's really quite shocking. And also just bear with this hair because I'm currently air drying it and it looks like this. Right, okay, so I wanna share with you some things. Do I dare use the H word? Haul. Haul. That's what it is, isn't it? It's a haul. But it's bits that are really deserving of being shared because they're all from just great independent sellers or makers. And last week when I shared those Christmas decorations, so many of you loved them and went and bought something from Beck, which I thought was great. So I feel like sharing is caring. So I recently discovered the website Wandering People. If you decide to visit this website, then do tread carefully because there is a high chance that you will want to buy everything, just like I did. I had to really exercise restraint because it's just full of great ceramics, homeware bits, art, just everything is beautiful. I bought two things. The first are these candle holders from a ceramicist called Peter Mears. They're shells. They have a transparent glaze on them which gives them a kind of very subtle pearlescent finish. They're very intricate and just beautiful, detailed. They come as a pair and they also come with two taper candles, which is great because I didn't actually realise that when I ordered them and then I realised I didn't have any nice tapered candles at home. So they've been on the mantelpiece. And then the other thing I bought was the Sophie Lou Jacobson spiral coasters. They come as a set of 4. I do not know where the 4th one is. I think it's under a mug somewhere. They're just so fun. And when they're not in use, they're quite a nice thing to just have out. I was also very tempted by that beautiful candle holder that she does. But I'm at capacity with candles and candle vessels. Like there is a candle on pretty much every surface at the moment. And having just bought those 2 candle holders, I was like, am I really going to buy another candle holder in the same order? So I felt like these would be much more practical. And then moving on, so those 2 bits were from Wandering People. Then let's move on to this necklace. So my friend Inez, who has the brand, My friend Inez, who has the brand Casa Allion, she recently did a pop-up at the Soho House in Paris alongside loads of other jewellers and vintage sellers. And I discovered this Ukrainian jewellery designer. Her Instagram is SHTOR, spelled S-H-T-O-R. And I was immediately drawn to her pieces because they have a very sort of organic feel to them whilst still also feeling contemporary, which I think is an interesting balance that I'm really drawn to with jewellery. And I really like the whole sort of like long pendant thing at the moment. I've got the La Mer castanets. I've also got, some of you might have seen me wear this sort of like big silver shell throughout the summer. And I love that comb that the Row did, that silver comb, but it's like astronomically expensive. So when I saw this, I was like, this is it, this is what I've been looking for, the sort of like slightly abstract, unusual shape to wear on different cords. This is a silk cord. This doesn't come with the pendant. The pendant came with 2 different black cords and a white one. This is just a blue silk cord that I have. I would quite like to get some red silk and maybe some brown. But yeah, so when I found her Instagram, she doesn't have a website, so I just DM'd her and asked her if she shipped to the UK and then just sent payment through PayPal. I just thought this is I think jewellery, sunglasses, hats, tights and socks are a really great and easy way to make dressing feel a bit more interesting at this time of year, because it can feel very repetitive and boring wearing the same coat or the same knitwear, just like that same kind of formula over and over. So having fun with accessories really makes things feel more interesting again. I might do a reel soon actually of like things that I've done to my outfits to make me feel a bit more like inspired again, because like things like this are really helping, and it's also a great way to have fun with colour as well. And then the next thing is actually from Casa Allion, which is how I discovered SHTOR. So Inez is a dear friend who I've met several times when I've been in Australia. Always make sure to catch up with her when I'm over there. When she started the brand, it started out with bags, and then she introduced jewellery, and jewellery just like did so well, and she's just gone from strength to strength with the jewellery. And then she's recently introduced like bags back into the collection. I think this pouch is coming out in brown soon. It has a really nice glass bead on the front there. I just love seeing what she does each season, and I cannot wait to see what she does with the brand in 2024. Moving on to another Aussie brand. This brand is called Per Capita, and they sent me this toast rack. I'm sorry, this is too nice for toast, surely. It's stainless steel, so it's quite heavy. I would like to use it, I think, as a paperweight, just because it is so heavy, or just like an object on display, because this seems too nice for toast. However, if you like eat a lot of toast and are looking for an interesting toast rack, this definitely ticks a box. It is very cool, but I think I'm gonna just have it out on display. And then I'll show you the ceramics that I bought at the ceramic sale yesterday. So unfortunately, excuse me, I think I need to cough. There we go, that's better. The ceramic sale that I went to yesterday, unfortunately the ceramicist, she's like an enigma. She doesn't use Instagram, she doesn't really sell anything. This is the first sale that she's done in about 5 years. It just so happens I was walking past her studio a couple of days before the sale, and I saw a sign outside. I didn't even realise she was still in that space, and I was like, great, I am there, bang on. As soon as she opens, I'm there. And I did get quite a few pieces. I got a really nice big vase. I'm going to wait until the light is there, and I'll show you that in the nice light, because it sits in our hallway window just perfectly. And then I also got a smaller vase. This is currently sat on the mantelpiece. I've ordered some more artificial flowers and some dried flowers, which I might put inside here. This little close up for you. And then I also got this cylindrical vase, which I'm using for toothbrush and toothpaste in the bathroom, because I really don't like how toothpaste and toothbrushes look. So the taller the container, the less of that you can see. When I have our toothbrushes in here, you can literally just see the tops of the toothbrush and the toothpaste, and the green goes really nicely with the red tiles. But yeah, unfortunately, these ceramics you can't really buy, and I know that's not helpful, but I just wanted to share them anyway. Someone left me a comment recently actually, and said I should do like a ceramics tour of our house, but it would take so long, because like ceramics is my weakness. I can't not buy them. If I see a ceramic sale, I'm there. I don't know what it is. I can't. But in 2024, my one New Year's resolution, or my one goal for 2024, is to invest in a piece of original art. Simmer down on the ceramics and potentially commission an artist to do a piece for the house, or buy a piece of original art, like something an artist has already made, because we have so many prints, and prints are a great way to have things on the walls, but I really, really want a piece of actual art, you know, like something that feels more textural. Like I'd love a big oil painting. I would really like that. Also, once Dean starts painting again, he can paint stuff to put up in the house. So those are the bits I just wanted to share. I think we can all agree they were very nice bits from very nice brands. As the sun's starting to come round this side of the house, it's a nice opportunity to illustrate the vase in its current place. We had like an incense burner and just like a little lamp here previously, but now that we've got a hallway light sorted, oh my god, there's a squirrel! Sorry, I get so distracted by the squirrels whenever I look out the window. Anyway, what I was saying was, basically this vase looks much better here and fits this window ledge and window shape perfectly in comparison to the bits that were there previously. I was thinking though, just to give this a bit more height, because the window is so like long and thin. I'm going to look for like a really tall sort of branch, just to fill that a little bit more. But in the meantime, these artificial flowers from Et Hem are really nice. ETTHEM. Definitely check them out if you're looking for quite realistic artificial flowers. These are beautiful. I've also got them, I don't know if I've shown you, they're also over in the window ledge in the bedroom as well. They are very delicate to the touch and they're not overly plasticky. So I think that is, like, plastic looking, if you know what I mean. So I think that is the key to achieving a very impressive artificial flower. And then obviously eventually we will have a blind here, but that's just another job that I haven't even begun to tackle yet, because it's just like, that's a whole other just task that requires a lot of brain power to figure out a blind. Yeah, I love this here. I think it just lovely. But did you see what I mean about just like a slightly taller twig? And also could maybe hang some little Christmas decorations off it. Right, I'm going to call it. This is it. This is the last goodbye of 2023. It is a shame that this vlog wasn't quite the vlog I was hoping it would be, but at least this gives me the chance to say a sort of thank you before the year is up. I genuinely thought I wasn't going to get a vlog up because I just felt like that chest infection knocked me out, and then I've just been playing catch up ever since. So at least I've got something out and I can say a big thanks to you all. I know this time of year is very difficult for a lot of people. Everyone has a very different relationship with Christmas and New Year, and it looks different for everyone. A lot of people I've spoken to this year feel a lot more flat and more like less enthusiastic about Christmas versus previous years. I'm normally so into it. I love it. I love the build up. I love everything about it, and I really get into it. But this year, some things just, it's just not, I just feel a bit flat. I think being ill hasn't helped. I felt less enthusiastic about it. And Dean and I don't particularly want to do much. We just want to spend time sat doing nothing. We will still see family this Christmas, but we just won't do it in such an intense way that we normally do. I think we will just be doing a lot of nothing, basically. I'm also one of those people that gets very anxious about the start of a new year. So I think I want to try and like push that anxiety to the back of my mind and just kind of like really enjoy being at home, and then tackle that new year anxiety when we actually get to that point. So I guess what I want to say is I wish there was a way I could like physically give back all of the love and support that you've given me throughout 2023, to kind of get you through this last bit of 2023 and going into 2024, because there are so many interactions with a lot of you that have pulled me through times, like pulled me through situations more than you will know. I am not hugely vocal about my mental health anymore online, mainly because I get such a vulnerability hangover about it. But there will always be the ups and downs of posting online, and through the downs there are many interactions and that have really helped me, and I guess I wish I could just really give that back, especially at this time of year. So from the bottom of my heart, I just can't thank you all enough. I say this all the time, but I'm so amazed that people actually watch me. Like I'm still baffled that every time I post a video, people are watching. I don't think it's something I'll ever wrap my head around. But I truly thank you, because it does make kind of putting it all together much more of a joy, knowing that there are such a great bunch of you just like enjoying the mundane that I'm putting out, and the romanticising of the mundane, I guess. Anyway, I really need to stop, otherwise I will get a bit emotional. So yeah, just a massive thank you. And I just wish you all the best throughout the next few weeks, and I'll see you at some point in 2024.